on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged review, and this is finally my review for Parasite. I actually watched it some time ago, but I'm just now getting to it. Just kind of goes like that sometimes. I got busy. So, we've all seen the movie by now. Anybody who wants to, I'm pretty sure. As I said, my non-spoiler, if you haven't seen this movie yet, try to go into it completely cold, not knowing anything about it. I think the experience will help with that. If you go into it kind of knowing what's happening, you're not going to have the same effect, that's for sure. So, for my spoiler review, directed by Bong Joon-ho, South Korean film from a South Korean director. I will say that for me, it was a little bit hard at times to keep up with the subtitles, but that's okay. It was actually a minor issue because I kept up with them fairly well. But there were a couple of scenes where they moved rather quickly. This is a story about one family that is very poor, that being the Kim family. And the son of this family has a friend who is tutoring a girl from a fairly wealthy family, the Park family. And so this guy kind of has a thing for this girl. So Min, the friend, he wants Ki-jung to go tutor this girl for him. So Ki-young has never been to college. He has his sister forge documents, and he goes to the Park family residence to have an interview. And so the mother sits in on the first session to see if he's going to be a fit tutor for her daughter. He does great. They hire him on. During this whole process of the interview and this first English lesson, that's what he's tutoring the girl with, he finds out that the woman has a son, and he is something of a youth artist. And the mother wants someone to direct and channel his energies for this artwork. And so the son of the Kim family kind of thinks about his sister, who is very artistic in her own right, and kind of finagles his sister now to be an art tutor for the son, as well as him being the English tutor for the daughter. Now, nobody in the Kim family had a real job. They were all folding boxes for this pizza joint. And so that also includes the mother and father. And so what then happens is they kind of finagle it to where they leave a pair of panties in their family driver's car. So it looks like he was having sex with somebody in the Park family car. And so they feel like, okay, we need to fire him and get another driver that we can trust. And so, of course, Hee-jung decides, hey, I can get my dad to be a driver for this family. And then they get the mother to be the housekeeper after doing some really shady shit with the housekeeper that was working there. The Park family had a housekeeper who was allergic to peaches. And so they had a bunch of peach fuzz that they kind of sprayed on her when she wasn't paying attention, and she would have these attacks. And so they were saying that she had tuberculosis. I think it was tuberculosis. But whatever they said, I think it was tuberculosis, but whatever it was, they said that she was sick and she was trying to hide it. And so, of course, the Park family doesn't want her around the kids, or them for that matter. And so they let her go and hire on the mom. Now, here's the caveat to this. All four of the Kim family, the poor family, are acting like they aren't related when it comes to the Park family. They're just acting like four individual people that randomly got chosen that were not connected. And so it's really interesting because you start to see everything unravel, because the Park family, the wealthy family, they go on this little trip, and while they're gone, the old housekeeper shows up while the Kim family are in the Park family house. They're eating, they're drinking, they're having fun. And so they let the housekeeper in because she says she left something in the basement. Well, it turns out there's a secret passage, and that thing she left in the basement was her husband. And her husband, they were both very poor as well, has been living underneath the Park family house for 4 years. And so he's a little weird and a little disconnected at this point. And there's a big fight that takes place because the housekeeper and her husband are trying to figure out how to stay there and not have to deal with the Kims. And then they realize that the Kims are all related. And so they feel like they have this weight, this leverage they can hold over the Kim family. And so the Kim family winds up attacking and accidentally killing the housekeeper and the guy that's been underneath the house. And so they accidentally kill his wife. And the guy's already kind of disconnected. And so what inevitably happens is that they're having a birthday party for the son, and this guy that they've got bound in the basement gets free, and he, first of all, grabs Ki Jung, the Kim family's son, and bashes his head with a rock a couple of times. And then he grabs a knife and walks out directly in front of everybody in this party and stabs the daughter in the chest. He goes after the mother next. She, in defense, grabs a spear and like sticks it through his side, kills him. And there was a moment where the Park family dad, the wealthy family's dad, he was talking about the Kim father, who drives him around, has a weird odor, a certain smell to him. And, that kind of comes from upper class and lower class people. Lower class people lived in poverty, in sewage, in, very poor conditions. And so the Kim family father watches his daughter get stabbed. The Park family father doesn't know they're related, but he's like just trying to run away, and he's yelling at the Kim family father to grab the keys to his car and let's go and this and that. And the Park father realizes he's just going to have to get the keys himself from the guy who just got stabbed. And as he gets close to him, he's revolted by the stench of the guy who just got stabbed, the guy that's been living under his house for, some time. And it did something to the Kim family father because, having already been talked down upon, even though he didn't realize that he was being heard, the Park family father, the Kim family father just kind of snapped. And he wound up grabbing the knife that stabbed his daughter and stabbed the Park family father in the chest. And then he immediately runs away. It was just that one momentary lapse of judgment, and couldn't take it anymore. The thing about this movie that was really interesting to me is you have the story on the surface of class segregation, and we certainly have that here in the States as well, and I think the Joker kind of pointed that out rather violently as well. And you have that whole scenario, but you kind of also have the dealing of like a mental illness here too. Not just with the husband who was kept under the house for 4 years, but the Kim family father who just couldn't take being looked at like he was anymore. And, and seeing how the wealthy just don't care absent-mindedly. And it's not even malicious, it's just absent-mindedness. How they just don't care about anybody else. And I thought it really hit home. It was very cool. There's a lot of layers to this for sure. And if you pay attention to the movie, anytime the Kim family were, dealing with the Parks for the first time, they were walking upstairs, they were moving up, which is kind of analogous of how South Korea is too. The rich live on the hills, the poor live under the streets. It was really interesting. I thought it was really creative how they did that. So it was a very good movie. And the big question, I think, really is, was this movie Oscar worthy as it was? I don't think you can deny that it was a very good movie, no matter what. On the surface, it was a very good movie, and if you dig a little deeper into the meaning of things, I think it was also a very good movie. Um, I don't know, man. Like, for me, it didn't hit me as big as other movies have this year, and maybe that's just personal preference. Maybe part of it was just being taken out of it by it was a slower paced movie, and the subtitles, it's a little bit harder. But honestly, those should be minor gripes. But maybe that's just why it didn't hit me as well. I did love it though. I thought it was a great movie, absolutely all the way from beginning to end. There was no wasted motion. There was no dialogue that was terrible. Everything pointed towards one direction. And one thing I really loved about this movie is that Bong Joon-ho can create different, like, not just different moods, but like polar opposite moods. Like it could be really warm one second and really dark the next second and seem completely seamless. And that was something that I really respected about that. Like that was a talent within itself. Um, and this movie does get dark, especially toward that very last part of the movie. So, very, very cool. Uh, Obviously, I already gave it a 10 out of 10. Nothing changes from that. So, yeah, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jack with Kaged Nation. Out.